Tonight on Pacific Report, Yokota's avionics flights and soldiers who dive for the Army. Good evening and welcome to Pacific Report. I'm Senior Airman Debbie Decker. The primary mission of Yokota Air Base in Japan is airlift. The base's C-130 cargo planes are able to take to the skies through the constant efforts of the 374th Maintenance Squadron. The organization is made up of smaller units that specialize on different sections of the aircraft. Senior Airman Sean Schroeder takes us to one of their shops.
Every C-130 at Yokota depends on its avionics. These are electronic systems that make it possible for these planes to navigate and communicate. The unit that maintains these essential electronic components is the avionics flight.
Everyone that works in this flight realizes how their job is critical to the mission. They realize that being in the Pacific Theater here and what our mission actually is, that just about every avionics system is critical. And if they do not turn a part out with a quality product and efficiently as possible, the mission may be aborted.
Electronic systems must be repaired according to exact technical specifications. Mistakes could affect the mission and endanger the safety and lives of the crew. The airmen who make up this flight are technicians with extensive knowledge.
Basically what we have here is we have two career fields here in this flight. We have the guidance control career field and also the communications and navigations career field. And seeing there's so few people in this flight, what we've gone ahead and done, we've diversified. Most all of our members are cross-trained into both career fields.
That cross-training makes Yokota's avionics flight unique in the Pacific. It allows the technicians to apply their knowledge so electronic systems can be repaired faster, saving the Air Force time and money. Senior Airman Sean Schroeder, AFN News, Yokota Air Base, Japan.
For our military to perform effectively from the air, ground, and at sea, it takes a cooperative effort. The Navy works at sea, the Army sustains ground combat, the Air Force attacks from the air, and the Marines perform quick opening assaults. While this is basically true, there's always a situation where things overlap. There are some jobs that would seem to fall under another service, but don't. As Marine Corporal Josh Walker reports, there's a small group of soldiers who look kind of out of place in diving gear.
Best known for their mission on land, these soldiers left their PDUs behind for wetsuits. There are about 100 of these soldiers in the Army with the designation as diver. Instead of building bridges, they might be blowing them up. They have a combat mission, but a lot of their time is spent on underwater construction and salvage. When ships deliver Army equipment over the shore, divers are there in case anything goes overboard. It might surprise you to see soldiers around ships and in the water, but they've done it for years.
We've had divers before World War II. Army's best kept secret, of course. That's been said before. It's a pretty good field. It's kind of hard to get into, but once you get into it, it's very, very rewarding.
Even though divers have been around for a while, their job is still unique. Divers are part of a team, but each individual works alone to accomplish a mission. They say this independence is what makes their job difficult.
You're down there. You don't really have a supervisor looking over your shoulder saying, no, do it like this. You're it. And yeah, you down there, you yourself do the job.
They may spend their time in the water, but what they do is necessary in getting the equipment their fellow soldiers need to do battle. Corporal Josh Walker, AFN News, Busan Harbor, Republic of Korea.
Up next, we'll find out how the Marine Corps trains their future leaders. Join us for a look at the Corporal's course and much more after this look at your Pacific weather forecast.
Now, from the AFN Weather Center, this is an AFN Weather Update.
I'm Air Force Staff Sergeant Chan Weinmeister in the Air Force Weather Agency's AFN Weather Center. Typhoon Maggie continues to be a key feature for the next several days. Sustained winds from this storm are forecasted to be at 130 miles per hour by tomorrow, with gusts to over 160. The forecasted track has Maggie moving just to the south of Taiwan, and if you're in the path of this storm, please stay tuned to your local AFN radio station for the latest warnings and advisories. On tonight's forecast, the threat of thunderstorms continues throughout Vietnam, and we'll see rain along most of China's southeastern coast. Beijing can expect increasing clouds tonight as a frontal system moves into northeastern China. For South Korea, look for fair skies over most of the country with fog developing along the west coast. In Japan, most of the mainland can expect partly cloudy skies with a few lingering showers in the Kanto Plain. Tomorrow, a frontal system moving into the far east will bring a chance for thunderstorms into Vladivostok. Showers will move into the southwestern and central Japan tomorrow as a frontal boundary slowly moves to the north. We'll be keeping an eye on another area of low pressure in the South China Sea that is showing signs for potential tropical cyclone development. For the rest of the tropics, thunderstorms and rain showers continue throughout Indochina, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Down under, high pressure moving into Western Australia will push the frontal system into Victoria and New South Wales. Tonight we'll see thunderstorms once again in the Philippines with rain showers in Thailand and at Diego Garcia. Tomorrow, scattered showers will continue in the tropics and we'll see fair skies for our featured cities in the outback. That's your update. I'm Air Force weather forecaster Chan Weinmeister in the AFN Weather Center.
Last year, security people at the Misawa Exchange busted 28 people trying to steal from Army and Air Force Exchange Service facilities. Airman First Class Robert Grenenz has more.
We can get like 3 channels.
Every day, people shop in base exchanges around the world. And when someone decides to steal something, store security is ready to bring the hammer down. Misawa's security team watches people all day, but some people stand out more than others. One security person who asked to remain anonymous says she knows what to look for.
A lot of times there are people who come in who do things that might trigger us to watch them a little more closely. And these people we watch until we have no reason to anymore, and we just let them go.
AFIS security members watched this young man for over 10 minutes to see if he was an impulse thief. They also research and watch for people they feel may be repeat offenders. The team is determined to catch all thieves no matter who does the stealing.
If you've done it before and you're thinking about doing it again, just realize we are watching you. We will catch you.
TJ feels Misawa's base exchange is more than a place of business. It's a responsibility.
This is my house, and I need to protect it. And being here day in and day out to watch, what goes on, it gives me a sense of accomplishment when I know at the end of the day that, I've protected my store.
Misawa's security team stopped watching this young man after he met up with his parents. If a person is caught stealing, the punishment varies depending on their age and whether or not they're on active duty. But no matter who gets caught, they must endure the embarrassment of security forces taking them out the front door and down to the station. Airman Robert Grenenz, AFN News, Misawa Air Base, Japan.
The transition from being a follower to taking a leadership position is challenging. The different military branches have schools to help with that transition. For the Marine Corps, there's the Corporal's Course. Tonight, Corporal Rob McCann takes us to Okinawa to see how the Marines train their future leaders with the Corporal's Course.
Let's go! Deployed Marines have a busy training schedule and spend much of their time in the field. The jungle environment of Okinawa is a good setting to teach Marines small unit leadership in combat situations. But not everything about leadership can be taught in the field. That's why 1st Battalion 8th Marines decided to conduct a corporal's course while deployed here. The course teaches young non-commissioned officers how to be leaders.
They need to know how to handle admin problems. They need to be able to counsel their Marines correctly. So I think it's imperative that every corporal goes through the course.
The course is comprised of classes and discussions on Marine Corps leadership traits and principles. The students learn how to properly wear and inspect uniforms, and even have a class on how to conduct a class. The Marines also had a question and answer session with combat veterans.
You gotta remember, when you're a leader, you're always busy.
I'll take a lot more knowledge back to my team, and I'll let them know what I went through and what they can expect once they get promoted.
Another emphasis of the course is close order drill.
There's nothing more embarrassing than a corporal getting in front of his platoon and he makes the Marines in the platoon feel embarrassed.
Marines learn drill movements in boot camp, but the corporal's course is the first time they learn to lead platoons in drill.
Gives you a chance to work with your peers a little closer. Maybe actually lead some corporals instead of just leading lance corporals and PFCs.
They graduated after 2 weeks, but what they learned will help them lead Marines throughout their military careers.
If you mold a good corporal correctly and right and you spend your time on it, then he's our replacement.
Corporal Rob McCann, AFN News, Camp Schwab.
Still ahead on Pacific Report, we'll travel to Asan Beach at Guam for Pacific Past and Present. Stay with us. Guam is a key staging area in the Pacific for U.S. forces. In the past, both aircraft and ships have used the island to refuel and plan their points of attack. During World War II, the Japanese Imperial Forces saw the importance of the location and took control from the U.S. Senior Airman Nate Allen takes us back to show us the U.S. forces' invasion of the island, which would later lead to a Japanese surrender of the island of Guam.
You know, Guam is a great little island with some very scenic beaches. Most tourists come here from miles around, but they don't come in their bathing suits. They come here to observe the past. This beautiful seaside landscape is called Asan Beach. Nowadays, it may look very peaceful and serene, but it didn't look anything like this 54 years ago. On July 21st, 1944, Asan was a point of attack for U.S. forces as they began reclaiming Guam from the Japanese. The sandy shore was a great place for landing. The shallow lagoon made it easy for amphibious vehicles to bring troops ashore, and the flat crescent of land gave them enough space to regroup and defend the beachhead. The island meant a great deal to American forces. Not only was it a strategic point in the Pacific, but it was also the first U.S. territory to fall in the region. Now our boys were here to take it back. The fight wasn't an easy one. Before the ground battle, the Army Air Corps and Navy delivered 10,000 tons of shells and bombs in 17 days, making this the heaviest pre-invasion bombardment in the history of the Pacific. The Japanese still had a strong hold on Guam. The Imperial Army took advantage of the steep coral cliffs, giving them positions that were difficult to take. However, as the 1st Provisional Marine Brigade stormed the beach, all was quiet. Mr. James Jones was in that brigade and explains what it was like before the landing.
Well, we had just got through with the marshal operation, so there wasn't not knowing what we were going to do, what we were looking at. But you didn't give it much thought. And you gave it much thought, then it made you nervous, and the less you could think about it, the better off you were.
The Japanese waited, letting the ground troops come ashore to where they could surprise them, away from their ships. Minutes later, enemy mortar rounds came pouring down from the cliffs.
We landed right here, and this was our right flank, and the Japs were on top of this hill right here, shooting down on us.
The shots didn't go unanswered. While the Marines dug in, our ships blasted back in retaliation from the lagoon, sending many enemy soldiers running back into the jungle where they would later surrender. A whole day of fighting went by, and thousands of lives were lost on both sides. Within 2 weeks, the island of Guam was a U.S. territory again. Today, the area is a memorial park dedicated to those who made the ultimate sacrifice on this shore. If you look closely, you can still see some of the Japanese fighting positions in the cliffs. To get the overall feeling of what our men went through on the island, a trip to the beach is a must.
And that's all for tonight's edition of our newscast. Have a good night.
Pacific Report is compiled from AFRTS and Public Affairs news sources and is a production of Detachment 10 Air Force News Agency.